Thank you.
Having had a quick taste of some of the spectacular sights in and around County Clare, the Cliffs of Moher, the Aran Isles, and the Barren Peninsula, I make haste to a pub session and a taste of the real stuff. Whether the Irish planned it this way or it just evolved, the ʻɪlən pipes are a very social instrument. It blends in well with fiddles, flutes, and tin whistles.
Hi to all those people over there in Canada. This is Ireland. We're having a good time.
This pub, in a little country town in Donegal, is a typical natural habitat of the Irish pipes, as Pat Broderick and friends go to it at a regular Friday night session. In the early 1960s, this instrument was in danger of extinction. That prompted a grassroots organization of pipers, the Society of ʻɪlən Pipers, dedicated to the preservation of the Irish piping tradition and music. Through their work, and with a resurgence in the popularity of traditional Celtic music and groups like the Chieftains, the Irish pipes continue to flourish. It was a dandy session, and the next day, we returned to County Clare in search of pipe maker and musician Uilleann Lamb. Through various leads in pubs where he's been known to play, we finally located him and agreed to meet the next morning at his workshop in Fanor. After showing us around his workshop, he talked about what makes the Irish pipes different from other bagpipes.
The first ʻɪlən pipes appeared in the late 1700s. So they were probably the electric guitar of the 18th century. The old guys were probably saying to their sons and daughters, don't be playing those things, why don't you play the harp? The three main differences between these and the Scottish or the war pipes are that these are bellows blown. They also have a chanter, and it's got this little valve on the bottom which enables the piper to close off the supply of air momentarily, increase the pressure in the bag and jump into the second octave. This isn't me, it's the... That's a noisy clack valve. Most bagpipes, when they're open, it's just music is on all the time. But with ours, we can play staccato playing, which sounds like this. The bag is full of air now. If I turn on this switch here, it switches on these three pipes here. They're called drones, which have the single reeds in them. 1, 2, and the third one is a big long one. It's 4 feet long. It goes around the curve. And they sound like that. And they're usually on when the pipe is playing all the time. And then these here are the regulators, and they don't give a full range of notes, but they give basic chords. So when the player is playing the melody pipe, if you hit these with your wrist like that, you can play simple chords. Like that would be a chord of G, that would be a chord of D. So...
Well, thank you very much.
I must go. You want to make a cup of tea for yourselves or anything?
With a newly acquired copy of Eugene's tape, A Trip to Fanor playing on the rented car tape deck, we headed off in a roundabout way through Waterford towards the Dublin airport. The weather was great, and we were in no rush. Our last stop in Ireland was deep in the Wicklow Mountains, the Glendalough Valley, a beautiful glen steeped in history, as I was about to find out from these young students.
We go to Brackenstown School. We're all aged 12, 13. It's best known as St. Kevin's Kitchen, and it's founded over 1,000 years ago, and he was a famous saint, and he done many things for many
we saw the
people.
round tower over there. There it is.
For the monks. And the round tower was made to keep the Romans out.
And they used
the
to,
bell,
the
they had
monks
a big
used to
bell,
throw
and they
oil
had
on
hit it with
the
a stick.
attackers.
The further along the road, the more there is to see. It was a different sort of road that would lead me to that castle in the center of France. My piper friend from back home was surfing the net one morning when he spotted something he thought would interest me. It was a notice announcing a music festival in the center of France, celebrating the bagpipe, hurdy-gurdy, and the luthiers or makers of these fine instruments. As fortune would have it, the timing was perfect. I managed to extend my trip 1 week, got permission to film, and the next thing I knew, I was in medieval France at the little village of Saint-Chartier for the 20th International Gathering of Luthiers and Maîtres Sonneurs. 5 days of traditional music and dance. The castle at Saint-Chartier provided an impressive backdrop for the festival, and together with much of the music, created a medieval atmosphere for the whole event. It was like a carnival around the luthier stalls, an amazing cacophony of sounds as potential customers tried out instruments, and spontaneous jams were happening everywhere. I managed to track down Robert Amieux, a flamboyant member of one of France's most progressive bagpipe groups, Quintet Cornemuse.
Saint-Chartier is something unique. People come here to see the instruments, to play together. They come from all over Europe, America, even China, Japan, India, and they play together, they learn music, they buy tapes, they buy instruments. But it's not only, it's not a fair where you can buy things. You can also, especially, I think it's the festival of the ear. Why am I here in Saint-Chartier? It's a therapy. I'm here because all year long I'm on the road. My actual job is playing the bagpipes. And after a while you get to ask these questions. Why am I playing this instrument? And when I come here, I have the confirmation of why I'm doing it. And it helps me live with this beautiful disease, which is piping. The repertoire of the Chanter de Cornemuse is compositions of Monsieur Jean Blanchard, which is a very fine piper, French piper. And it's based on a theory because we found French pipes from the last century, 19th century, and also from the 18th century. And from the different sizes, it appears that those pipes were already playing together in harmony. We have two middle range pipes in G with the drones. The drones is this continuous sound in the bagpipes. In G, which we call 16 pouces, 16-inch. And we have a small musette bichonnet, which is another type of French pipe with a bellows. It's a bellows blown pipe with 3 drones in sharp C. We have a low C instrument, which is called 23 pouces, 23 inches. So we have this harmony, and we are able to write music and to create things with improvisation. In the 18th century and in the 19th century, we're almost convinced that the pipers, the French pipers then, when they were leading the dances, they would also at one point improvise. So we have a harmonic sound with pipes in low C, high C, middle G, and improvisation. And this is, you could say that since it is all written nowadays, end of the 20th century, it is new, but at the same time, it is traditional.
At one time, the cornemuse was common throughout France, and for a time, the ornate little musette was very popular with the aristocracy in the French courts. But by the mid-19th century, the bagpipe and hurdy-gurdy had fallen out of favor, relegated to the peasant and beggar class, and had all but disappeared. It was about this time, in this very castle in Saint-Chartier, that the well-known French writer George Sand wrote a novel championing the cause of the cornemuse and hurdy-gurdy of this region of France. Perhaps somewhat influenced by Poland's great composer Chopin, George Sand established an organization of maîtres sonneurs, or master musicians, in order to resurrect these dying musical traditions. Now, 120 years after her death, bagpipes and hurdy-gurdies are an established part of the contemporary music scene.
Here in this actual area where we are, there's at least 150 different types of pipes.
From Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, a bagpipe well he could play and sound, and so withal he led us out of town.
You've got the fingering here and it plays da da dee 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 da 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 dom. But this one is only a peppermill. Okay. We have more different kinds of bagpipes in France than in the British Islands altogether.
One of the amazing main stage concerts featured a variety of bagpipes from various parts of Europe. It was aptly titled The Swarm of Drones. This description of the concert appeared in the program. A sensitive involvement in the world of the hurdy-gurdy and bagpipe of Europe. We are bringing together some of the most unusual, some of the best soloists and duets of hurdy-gurdies and bagpipes in Europe. And we are celebrating the modal universe and the world of drones of yesterday, of elsewhere, of today, and of the next century. The sound of European bagpipe music and the hurdy-gurdy were so different from what I was used to. When that Sardinian reed pipe player came on stage, I was amazed. As I was filming him, it occurred to me that this was it. Here was the missing link, the origin of the bagpipes. For in order for this musician to maintain continuous sound, he used a technique of circular breathing in which his cheeks were kept filled with air while inhaling through the nose. Eventually, the cheeks were replaced by a separate goatskin bag and the first bagpipe created. Exactly where and when the bagpipes were invented is somewhat less clear. Most historians seem to agree that generally they started out somewhere in the regions of Central Asia and North Africa some 3,000 years ago. Through various waves of invaders, bagpipes seem to have infiltrated most cultures of the world. One strand of the French pipes came through Spain up from North Africa and into France in the hands of the Moors. While most feel the Scottish pipes came through a more northerly route, from Scandinavia and Russia. Most of the music here was non-Celtic. A major exception was Ireland's sensational Sharon Shannon and her band.
And I work in Trad magazine, which is a French magazine on traditional music. I think there's a growing interest in traditional music because more and more groups are, we call that fusion, a lot of influence on world music, and there's a lot of groups who are playing, for example, hurdy-gurdy and so on. Even if in a rock group,